We've arrived. Taylor's very confused. Why are you confused?
I've never been here before. I don't know what I'm supposed to expect. But apparently all of Santorini is up top, not down the sides like I thought for some reason.
Welcome back everybody to our MSC cruise series through the Mediterranean. Today we are tendering in Santorini, and if you saw the last video and how unorganized it was to get off the ship while docked, we had some serious situations and fears for what would happen today, and that it might happen again. Today we are doing an excursion through a third-party operator, and Jake had organized all of this for us. So we were a little worried about getting off the ship and getting picked up in time to, make things work. And as always, if you have questions about travel, cruising, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and we will answer those for you.
We're probably going to tender down here into this little town, and then you have to take the zigzag back and forth all the way up top, because Santorini is actually up on top of the mountain there. And I think that's just not what Taylor was expecting. And honestly, I wasn't really expecting.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't do any research, so.
But is this what they were talking about, where you can take like a donkey back down the slope?
I have no idea, but I would not want to take a donkey down that.
Why not?
MSC issued tender tickets. These are just pieces of paper with a number on them, and they're free. The catch is, though, that you have to pick them up and request a time to get off the ship. I was downstairs at 7 a.m. that morning ready to see the chaos unfold, but there wasn't. There was no one lining up, so I was able to get tickets to be some of the first people off the ship. Now, if you do have status with MSC, you'll receive special tender tickets the night before, and you'll be in the very first group to get off of the ship. If you're disembarking the ship, you're going to need to go to the theater, where you'll be escorted off the ship by an MSC crew member, and that'll be designated by the number that you have selected to get off of the ship. And guess what? It was super organized. Seriously, it was. We were really, really shocked.
Thank you. Well, we made it off of the boat and here in Santorini without any issue, which was really great. And it was a nice start today. Now, it is still a little bit chilly, and so hopefully the sun will stay out and burn off some of the clouds. But I mean, I don't know what anybody else is going to do today, but I'm definitely still going to jump on the water. I mean, you're here. I'll jump off the dock over here if I have to.
Pacific? Well, not really.
No, I didn't really get to.
Now, once you actually land here in Santorini, down at the bottom, you're going to have a couple of options to get to the top. One is you can take the cable car, which goes all the way up. You can take a donkey, or you can just walk. And it is a long ways, so you might want to just take the cable car. But for us, we are meeting our excursion, or meeting up for our excursion down here at the bottom. So we don't really have to go anywhere, and it's really nice, and it gives us the opportunity to shop around a little bit.
Do you know if you have this sweatshirt right here in a large?
He's like, oh God, please don't let it be them. Please don't let it be them.
Is that a crepe? Yeah. Go get one.
What if I get it on my white outfit?
Well, that is guaranteed.
What?
Oh, you gotta take off your shoes. Thank you. Push all the way in.
Once on board, we had a safety talk and began sailing around Santorini. And while it was on the cooler side for this excursion, the company had lots of blankets and even towels for us to use, and we didn't shy away from sitting out front and enjoying all of the views. And probably for the first hour, we sailed along the coast of Santorini, learning about the history and the culture of the people here, and we got some really great views of the towns from below and afar. But what I was really looking forward to most is what was coming up next.
So hopefully y'all can hear me. We are making our way over here to the coast. I guess this is like a pretty good place to take photos. I'm not really sure of like what we're taking photos of. But it is a pretty cool looking coastline. I mean, we really did not know what to expect here coming into Santorini. We kind of thought it was like the Amalfi Coast. And it's very different, but it's still nonetheless like pretty cool. So, and as y'all can see, like I'm literally sitting up here at the front, and everybody else is. You can see how cold it is because everybody's got a blanket on.
It's a little chilly, but the blankets are good. The blankets are good. The sun is peeking out just a little bit, so that's also nice. And we're not like going super fast, so that's helping like with the wind not being too windy.
A little bit. Yeah, we can't hear what everybody's saying. Thank you.
Marianne just said that the music's too loud. Can't hear anything.
She's not a party animal, I guess. Are we all supposed to look at each other and laugh?
Oh, it's a great time. Everybody look at your favorite person.
Oh, we're looking
Oh, she's looking at you!
He looked at Naughty. He looked at Noah. I got nobody.
Oh.
Escape house. Escape house.
So the buildings on this side, are they just private local residents or is it?
Yeah. All the buildings here are cave houses.
Cave houses.
Ah.
Yeah. People use them in the past to live here or to store as their food at the cave houses because you know the temperature at the cave houses is very good to maintain the
Constant.
to maintain the goods.
So we are arriving now at our kind of like first real stop where we're actually going to be able to get off the boat. And this is the old volcano island. We're actually coming into what is the old caldera right now. And all around us, you can see it's like lava rocks. It's pretty cool. And we're actually going to be able to get off and swim here. So there's supposed to be hot springs, but she said they're not like hot. It's really just warm. So I kind of wonder how much of the heat is actually still coming out of here. So this is like I said, the old volcano island. There's actually still a new one here, and it is still active. There's an active volcano. It's, you know, nothing's happening. It's kind of dormant right now, even though it's you know, sleeping. But it's I'm actually excited. This was one thing that if we wouldn't have done this private excursion that we're doing today with Marianne and the fam, the rowdy crowd, as I like to call them, I certainly wanted to do this as an excursion that was offered by MSC, was to come out here and kind of see the caldera, see the volcano, walk around, or whatever they would do, swim. It looked really cool. So you can kind of see already behind me that there's some other boats. And I assume that everybody else is probably also swimming or doing something similar to that. So we're also in the, like, it's the Mediterranean. Like, I can't not be here and not get in the water. Whether it's, you know, 30 degrees or 100 degrees, I'm jumping in this water no matter what. Geronimo! Holy, it is cold. It is, yeah, it's icy. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna be straight. It's icy. Oh my gosh! It actually does feel like there might be a few pockets of like slightly warmer water. This is pretty cool. I'm glad we got the, oh, here's some slightly warmer water. Slightly warmer.
The water here was about 60 degrees, and those warm pockets were few and far between. And to be honest, by the time you swim to the springs, you've acclimated to the water, and it's tough to really notice any difference. The bottom here has like a sulfur sludge, so it does feel a little gross when you're walking around and getting in between your toes. But all in all, even though it was really, really cold, this was fun and something very different.
Yeah, they're like, there's a bunch of bubbles like, oh wow. Well, there's like, oh, it just kind of just like comes and goes, the heat. Yeah. Everybody smile, one last look at the rock. Oh, it's nice warm sulfur water. So we just finished our, what I would call the polar plunge, because by God was that cold. But it was a really like interesting, it's a really neat experience. I'm glad that I got to do it. I'm glad that I did it. You know, how many other times are we going to be here and be able to have the opportunity to do it again? So it was cool. Was the water that much warmer in the quote-unquote hot springs? No, it really wasn't. And if you kind of get weirded out by like stuff touching your feet, sorry, there's stuff over here. I got to go switch lenses because I want to get photos. But if you get weirded out with stuff touching your feet, the sulfur precipitates onto the bottom. So you get this like sludge layer, and your feet will get in it, and it feels gross and weird, and if you don't like it, you probably won't like that. So, but all in all, it was so cool. Glad that we did it. And what better way to warm your body up than with alcohol? So cheers to some Santorini wine.
We made it to our second spot where we could actually go snorkeling, and believe it or not, I was pretty much the only person who wanted to do this at all because the water was really cold. But this was an area where the water was just crystal clear, and just, you know, I mean, you're here, might as well like take advantage of it, right? Do it, because you might regret it later on. Now, there weren't a ton of fish here by any means, and one thing that the crew did is they did throw some food out into the water to try and gather some of the fish, which did make it kind of cool and a little bit nice to snorkel and see some of the fish, and they were really well colored. But again, this was cold, and it took a lot to stay down below the water and keep snorkeling around because it was so cold. But again, it was a lot of fun. And this was just another addition to the tour today, from sailing around Santorini to seeing the hot springs and getting to snorkel. So once we finished our sailing around Santorini, which was a lot of fun, the tour operator actually provided us transportation back into the town where we were going to be able to pick up the tender and head back to the ship. So Santorini is actually a pretty big island. There are several different locations where cruise ships sometimes will tender people to, and so it's important to make sure that you're going back to the same place. Now, we did think that we were going to have time to actually do some shopping, but we didn't. We actually had to pretty much get back to the town and make our way through all of the shops, through all of the stalls, and back down to the tender because we didn't have any time to shop afterwards. Well, we are climbing down from the top of Santorini, which is really cool.
It is. We were gonna take the cable car, and I think that would have been cool, but this is awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like you could say like this is a Santorini thing. Like you should definitely do it. We were gonna skip it because of just like timing and things, but we decided, you know what, let's just go for it. It's supposed to be like 15 minutes or so going down. We're not climbing back up, so let's go. Only 10 euros. No, thank you.
How far is the donkey go?
Oh my gosh, there's so many of them.
Are there more?
That's what I felt like when I was. Bum, 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 bum. Snap, snap. All right, so we've made it back on to the ship, and Taylor about just knocked over my glass of Riesling. We're hanging out in the Blue Velvet Bar, and here in the Blue Velvet Bar is where we've been hanging out and doing a lot of like our, if I can get like some better vantages maybe of the area, I don't know. This is where we've been hanging out and like doing our Patreon podcast for the Patreon members, and we are just now getting ready to sail away from Santorini and begin to make our way to Turkey. So kind of exciting, and I will say that like we had a really great time, even though we didn't really get to experience a lot of Santorini itself. The excursion that we did today, which was private, was really cool. So funny story. Taylor really was like, you know, can we maybe go to the excursion desk, see if there's anything available to do in Turkey tomorrow? Because, you know, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go walk around maybe in the markets, which are very cool, for like a little while, and then what are we gonna do for the rest of the day? Because we're in port for, I think, almost 8 hours tomorrow. So I said, yeah, sure, let's go down and we'll see what there is, if there's anything to do, and or anything left. And so we decided we were gonna do Ephesus, is that how they're pronouncing it? I think so. Which is like 4 hours, gives us time to come back, walk around in the markets, and still maybe get a full day. Filled out all the paperwork. They said, it looks like you already booked it.
So I guess I already booked it. So
I forgot.
I forgot about it. So it's kind of nice that their system will at least be able to show that. So if you do happen to make that mistake, like I did, yeah, I saw that too. MSC is a little weird. Anyways, interesting and funny. Just a funny little tidbit story. So coming back to the room. Look what's here. It says excursion tickets.